Thank you all for coming. March 19, 2025, Lunch and Learn. And my name is Martin Jam, your host, a sweet business development contributor and leader. Sweet comes in two parts. We have continuing education, which is cooking, dancing, art, music, crafts, and we have workforce training, which comprises of computers, safety, health, technical, business, and apprenticeships. And we are all Bengals. Thank you all for coming. Today, I want to welcome Paul Dickey. Paul is our apprenticeship coordinator at Idaho State University's Continuing Education Workforce Training Department and collaboratively guides apprentices through their four-year program in licensed plumbing, electrical, and HVAC technician training. Paul ensures the success of apprentices by overseeing classroom administration. Paul also handles our video projects at Suite and collaborates with his team to create compelling content that promotes the department's educational offerings and community outreach initiatives. Please join me this afternoon to welcome Paul Dickey, our presenter for today.
All right. Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you very much. I want to thank you, everyone, for coming and participating in the presentation today. I hope you find some value in it. Just a little warning, I'm getting over a cold, so just some information. So I like to start off first by kind of going over what the presentation is going to be structured like. So I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint. Okay, so my name is Paul Dickey. As Martin introduced me, I'm the apprenticeship coordinator here at Continuing Education Workforce Training. The first part of it is I'm going to mirror my iPhone to my Mac so that we can go over the keyboard layout. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with the keyboard layout on your iPhones, but let's just kind of cover that over in a general sense. And then I'm going to switch over and share my iPhone through my Mac. At this point, you won't see the keyboard, but you will see the controls. The reason I'm doing this is just easily accessibility as I go through my demonstrations. It's easier for me. Then what we'll do is we'll talk about the ribbon, and I'll cover that, and we'll cover formatting text, creating and managing checklists, and using tables. We'll continue with the ribbon by showing how to attach files, talk about recording audio, using Image Playground very briefly. We're only going to touch on that just a little because not everyone has Apple Intelligence on their phone. And then also adding videos and photos, and then scanning documents. This is a really powerful tool in Apple Notes that not everyone is aware of. Also, we'll talk about the drawing and sketching tools. And briefly, we'll talk about, again, Apple Intelligence so briefly. And then organizing notes. Now, this is going to be I think the really important part is, geez, we all know how to type into our phone, but how do we organize those notes afterwards? How do I find what I'm looking for? And this is where we'll talk about folders and smart folders, tagging notes, and also talking about backlinks, which I hope this is going to be the transitional part of the presentation where you'll go, oh my word, that's mind-blowing. And this backlinking is I will demonstrate how I use the system called the Forever Note system to keep track of many of my notes that I take for work. And then finally, I just want to show how Apple Notes syncs across different devices. I'm an Apple guy, so I have a bunch of Apple devices. However, you may only have the phone, but if you are an Apple person and you have a Mac or an iPad, you'll notice that your Apple Notes can sync across many devices. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen and mirror my iPhone so that we can go over the keyboards. Again, this is just going to be an overview so that we're all familiar with the keyboards on the iPhone. Then, okay. So everyone should see my phone up on the screen now.
Yes.
All right, so now if you notice on the front screen, I have the Apple Notes app on top of my screen. And the Apple Notes app is easy to recognize. It looks like a notebook page. So I'm going to open up the Apple Notes app. Okay. And this is generally how it launches. You'll see basically your folder structure as soon as you open up the app. Now, in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see a symbol for the new notes. So this is what you're going to press to start a new note. And I'm bringing this up again so that we can get to the keyboard, so that we can do an overview of the keyboard prior to going into going over some of the functions of Apple Notes. Now, obviously, it's a standard keyboard. Basically, you're going to have the access to that as you type your notes or, text messages and so forth. So anyone who text messages should be familiar with this keyboard as well. However, the one thing that I do want to point out is in the lower left-hand corner, the 1, 2, 3 button. If you press that, that's going to give you access to a bunch of symbols and the numbers, obviously. So now that you have access to that, you'll notice another key here that has a pound sign, a plus, and an equal. That is how you're going to access some additional symbols. And this is going to be important later on when we talk about backlinking. So if I press on that, now I have access to some additional symbols such as the period, the comma, the exclamation point. But what I do want to point out is the greater than symbol. So again, to get the greater than symbol, you're going to go from the keyboard to the number key, then to the symbol key so that we have access to the greater than symbol for later on when we want to talk about backlinking. So going over that, you'll also notice that at the top here, we have a lot of our controls for adding different elements to the notes. Basically, a lot of people refer to this as the ribbon. So now that we've covered the keyboard, oh, one last thing, microphone symbol. I don't know how many of you have ever used this to dictate to your phone, but this is a powerful tool. And in the last couple of upgrades to the Apple operating system for your iPhone, this dictation has improved greatly over the last couple of upgrades. So this has been a powerful tool that I've been using, and I want to show, I want to talk about that later on when we talk about audio recording. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm mirroring from my Mac using the Mirror app on the Mac. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to start by clicking into the Apple Notes app. Again, this is easily recognizable from because it looks like a notebook. Okay, now at this point, you will not see the keyboard moving forward. However, you will see all the other controls that are here. Okay, so if we go here, again, you'll see should start on this app where you'll see folders if you have any folders already created. But let's start with formatting text. So we're going to hit the right button, and we're going to start with formatting text. So basically at the very top, we're going to start with the title. Okay, easy enough. Every note needs a title so that we can refer to it later. So we're going to start with the title, but we also have options of formatting. If you look at the ribbon and you see the letters at the bottom, the AA, if you click on that, you'll have all these different formatting available to you. So basically, you can do the bullet point lists, you can indent, you can do monochrome spacing, you can bold, italicize, underline, strike through, and you can even write on your screen. However, let's talk about the title is going to be your first title. Then you have your headers and subheaders. Now, this is important because if you add a header and you say header 1, okay? Now, this is important because if you then start the body 1, body 2, okay? Now, this now with the upgraded Notes app, you can now have this drop down for sections. So as long as I have a subheader, I can create drop downs. This is a great way of separating out sections of your notes. So if I go header and I go header 2, and then I go body 1, 2. Again, now I have 2 separate sections that have separate drop downs. This actually is a great way of cleaning up your notes when you're writing them. Because previously, before they had these subheader sections, you would write into Apple Notes and you would just have this long, continuous note that just, there was no easy way of separating it out. So it made it just so difficult for you to organize those notes neatly when you were typing them in. Now, as we have these notes, of course, you can also highlight and bold, or highlight and italicize. But in the last upgrade, what they also added was the ability to color your notes. So basically now you have that ability to actually section out different notes by color if you want to. And this is, previously, before the last upgrade in the operating system, this was not possible. Okay, so, again, this is, I know this seems really simple, but a lot of people aren't aware that, you have this ability to format these notes in an orderly fashion so that it makes it easier for you to read later on. Now, so we covered formatting the text. Again, you have all these different formats. If you want to do a bullet point list, you can do a bullet point list, list, and then a numbered list. So 1, list. And again, so you have a lot of formatting options. So this can actually help you with, creating those lists for work. Maybe you want to do a to-do list. This is an easy way that you can do your to-do list right in your Apple Notes. Now that we've covered this, let's talk about checklists. So I said, hey, you want to do a to-do list. Well, actually, if you go to the next item on the ribbon bar, you can do a checklist. Basically, now you can go pick up laundry, pick up groceries, make dinner. And then now you can create a list that you can actually check off as you go through. And again, just another formatting option. The next thing on the ribbon is going to be tables. Now, tables is a powerful tool to use when you want to, really organize your information. So if I go hit tables, it will create a table that I can then separate into columns. So I can insert drawings. So name, address. And then you can insert more columns and rows as you go through. Now, let me show this. What I use this for really quickly is a lot of times I have devices that I need to get my passwords for. I have made a note that actually has passwords. So basically, I will put the username, password, and then just add that username. And what's nice about Apple Notes is it's encrypted information, meaning that your information in Apple Notes is saved and it's safely encrypted onto the Apple Notes. So again, most times I'm using a password manager for websites, but For devices like my work Mac or my home Mac or some other device that I don't have that easily accessible, I can create a password database using the table feature in Apple Notes. And again, I can just keep adding columns and rows if I need to, and I know that my information is safe on my notes because I'm using the Apple Notes feature. Then, why don't we move on to the real meat and potatoes of the ribbon is your attachment section. So this paperclip symbol allows you to add different types of attachments to your Apple Notes. So if I clip on this, I have the ability to attach a file, record an audio, image playground, and we're not going to touch on that too much. Choose a photo or video, take a photo or video, scan a document, or scan text. So these are actually really powerful tools to get different resources into your Apple Notes. Like you may have a meeting, and then after that meeting, you have someone emails you a file that you want to make sure that it's attached to that meeting. So attaching a file is a great way of adding that file to your notes so that you can have access to it later. So you can always know that it's attached to that note. Record audio. I'm going to go back to this after we've done because this is going to be a game changer. Image Playground. So Image Playground is the new AI that's built into Apple. You have to have an Apple iPhone 15 Pro or above, or an M1 Mac at above in order to access Image Playground. Basically, it allows you to create images based on your instructions, but it only uses images of photos that you can access within your photo library. Not really a useful tool at this point, but it's going to be, down the road, there should be some improvements. But right now, I haven't found a use case scenario that I found that I can that I could utilize myself. Now, photos and videos. Now, we all have that thing where we want to add photos or videos to a note. This allows you to add that photo or video that's in your library. Again, it has to be in your library. So a photo or video that you've already taken that's in your library, that's on your phone or on your Mac if you're doing notes from a Mac. So the next thing is to take a photo or library. So we've all had that meeting where you're taking notes and then there's a whiteboard and someone's been writing on the whiteboard as you've been having that meeting. This is a great opportunity for you to take a picture of that whiteboard and attach it to your meeting notes, after you're finished. Basically your meeting's done, you've got your notes, and now you want to attach that whiteboard afterwards. So you can take that photo or a video in case it's a demonstration that someone's giving about that, something you've covered in that meeting as well. So this is a great way to get that into your notes. So again, you would, basically take a photo, and then I'm going to cancel that out. And then this is a way that you can actually get those resources into your note. Now, the next thing would be scan documents. Scanning a document is very important. We've all had that meeting where that note that you're writing a note about a meeting, or you've just had a meeting, or you have a document that you need to associate with a meeting a note that you have. This allows you to scan a document by going up here, scan a document, and then it would access your camera. And based on your camera access, then you could just hover it over a document. And basically, when you hover over a document, it will then align the document into your camera frame and allow you to take the scan of that document right into that note. And again, it's an easy way to access that note for later on, that document. Now, the difference between scanning text and a document is basically it's going to scan the text and bring the text over as written words into your Apple Notes. Basically, this is a good way of getting just the words from a document into your notes. But I find that it works only on small pieces of text. So don't think that you're going to take an entire document and scan it, and then it's going to read the entire thing. There'll be some wonkiness involved. So I would definitely just use it for little snippets of text that you want to bring in. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the drawing tools. Okay. So the drawing tools, basically any note can be drawn on. And basically, if you're on your phone, you can use your finger to draw on your note. So you pick a note, pick a pen, pick the thickness of the pen, and then start drawing on your note. Basically, this is a great way of sketching out ideas that you have and get them into your phone. And again, add them to that note as you move down. And, this is just an easier way to just quickly sketch something. Again, if you were doing this on, say, an iPad and you had the Apple Pencil, you could get really detailed notes. On your phone, you're just using your finger and you're basically either drawing or you're highlighting a note. So you can highlight, or eraser tool will allow you to erase the note, the drawing that's in the note. And then you also have this tool that allows you to write and have it convert to text. And this allows you, these drawing tools also, I want to go back to when we attach a file. You can attach a PDF into your document. Okay? You can attach a PDF into your document and then use the drawing tool to annotate on that PDF. So basically you can start a note, bring in a PDF, and then use the drawing tools to annotate, to make notes on that PDF that will save for later on, so you can use that for references. And that's probably the best use of those drawing tools, is to mark up documents for your reference later on. Okay. And then drawing tools, done. And then Apple Intelligence. So Apple Intelligence is its new tool. I have to be perfectly honest with you. I have not been too impressed with Apple Intelligence so far. It's promised a lot, but I don't think it's really delivered what it's promised on. But the one thing it can do is it can help you with some text. This is text that I want to I'll work on later, and I want to improve on for reading. Okay. All right. So Apple Intelligence, basically you press on that and you will highlight a section and you describe how you want to change it. Basically summer, clean. Okay. And yeah, so basically text I plan to improve for better readability. So it works. Basically, if you highlight sections of your notes and you ask Apple Intelligence to help you rewrite it in a more clear way, it will help you rewrite those notes in a clearer fashion. Again, outcomes vary. And I have found that sometimes when you're trying to write your notes, it's not very accurate as far as what you're asking it for and the results that you get. So I would definitely play with this. And you're only going to see Apple Intelligence if you have an iPhone 15 Pro or above. And I believe the new 16E has Apple Intelligence as well. That just came out. So those are some features that you might want to try and play with. Now.
Hi, Paul.
Yes.
Is Apple Intelligence the same as Chat GPT?
It is an AI. It is Apple's own AI, and it has similar functions. It's not quite as robust as ChatGPT, but I'll tell you the biggest difference. The biggest difference is Apple Intelligence is an on-device AI, meaning The reason why Apple Intelligence is only available on 15 Pro and above and the new 6E, 16E is because it does all its computations and thinking on your phone. It does not go out to the web to do any of its work. It stays on your phone. So if you're using Apple Intelligence, it's staying on your phone. Basically, this creates a closed structure. So if you're worried about security or getting information out in the open, Apple Intelligence is a good way to go because it's going to stay on your device. It will only utilize the resources on your device. It doesn't go out and work on resources out in the open. You can connect ChatGPT to your phone, but for the most part, if you stay closed, you're going to use your Apple Intelligence and it will stay on your device only. Okay, done. So I think I want to talk about structure and organization now. We all have those issues where we're trying to, basically keep everything nice and tight and clean. And, we want to make sure that everything is working properly. Hey, how do I find my notes later? Because, I don't know about you, but I've got a ton of notes. And sometimes I just having difficulty finding those notes later on. So let's talk about folders and smart folders. Well, as you can see, I have some folders on my computer already. I have a personal folder, old notes, and I have some smart folders here as well. Let me show you how to create a folder in the first place. So basically, if I'm on top here, at the very top, I can hit this button down below to create a folder. And then I'm going to call that, let's say, demo folder 1. Okay. And I'm done. Okay. So now I have this new folder called demo folder 1. So basically, if I want, I can write a note and then move that note into, or start right here, start a note right here, and it'll stay right in demo folder 1. Demo note 1. Okay. Done. Okay. So if I go demo folder now has that demo note 1. So if I start in the folder, start a note, it will stay in that folder that I've created. Okay. So, but you have these gear wheel links here, right here, and these are what's called smart folders. What's the difference between a smart folder and a regular folder? Well, a smart folder allows you to add content to that folder based on tagging. And we'll talk about that right now. So if I start a folder and I want to make this, let's go demo folder 2. I want to make this a smart folder. I'm going to turn on tags, any tags, selected tags, selected tags. I don't have the selected tag yet. So let's go and cancel this and let's create tags. So if I go back to demo folder 1 and I open up demo note 1, so this is a note for my demonstration. I want to show how tags work. Okay, a tag is basically a way of creating a file structure without a file structure. I know it's kind of weird to understand, but tags are as simple as adding a hashtag and then a word. So now I've created the hashtag demo. So if I create another note back and I create another note and I go demo note 2 and I add that hashtag, basically now I have 2 notes that have the same hashtag. What good does this do? Well, if I go back and I create a new folder and I say demo notes, and I want to make it a smart folder, and I want to add tags, now I can go and add, let me see, find the demo tag. Where is it? Demo tag, right? And now, done. I've got this smart folder that's called demo notes. And because those notes I added has the tag hashtag demo, they automatically go into this folder. So that means I don't even have to associate or start a note from that folder. I can just write the note, make sure it has that connected hashtag, and it will wind up in this smart folder automatically. And this is a powerful tool for you to keep things organized so that you can find those notes later on. I think tagging is very underrated as far as being able to create this structure on how to connect notes. So if I, for instance, show you my I have a DOE grant. If I open that up and I open up a note, I go to the bottom, I have these hashtags that I've created, DOE grant, hashtag work, hashtag apprenticeships. So basically, now I have multiple hashtags, so I have multiple ways of organizing these notes together. So basically, I could create a smart folder that has work, and everything that has work in it is now connected in that folder. So now all of them wind up in that. But again, sometimes I want to have just a smaller folder structure. So I have my DOE grant notes, and only the hashtag DOE grants go into this folder. Again, this is an easier way of connecting your notes so that you can find stuff later on. Again, that's the problem with creating a lot of notes. If you're working all the time, you're creating notes constantly, excuse me, is losing them. I lost my note, because one issue that Apple Notes has is it's going to move the last note you worked on up top. So, if 6 months go from now and you're trying to find that note 6 months from now, it's going to be more difficult because it's been pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed down to the bottom of your list. So you need a way of organizing these notes and being able to find them later on. And the tagging structure is a great way of doing that, is because then now you have a shorter list to go through and you know that it should be on this. Also, don't forget, you always have search. Search is a great tool. If you go search, you can search by tag. DOE grant. Okay. And then it will search by hashtags, so you can find them later on. So search is a great tool as well for finding stuff. But, folders and smart folders is one way of creating organizational structure for Apple Notes. But what I want to talk about now is we're going to go back to, remember at the beginning of the presentation, excuse me, and I talked about that greater than symbol. We did an overview of your keyboard, and I showed you that you can, excuse me, find that greater than symbol by going into the number key and then the 3 symbol keys, and then the greater than symbol is there. That's because I want to go over something called backlinking. Backlinking is a way of linking multiple notes together. Let me show you what I mean by that. So if I start a note, and let's call this note 1, okay? So I've got this note 1, and let's just add the hashtag to it, just for fun. So I got note 1, but now I go back to my folder, and on another day, I'm working on notes and I want to create note 2. I'm in a meeting and I'm creating note 2 for the same project. Okay, so now I have note 2 and note 1. Now, these notes are on the same project. I want to try to keep them together. Now, I could make a smart folder and hashtag them and keep them together as well, but maybe I want to have quicker access, even quicker access to the notes so I can connect them together. Well, if I then want to, I could hit the greater than symbol twice. And I get this drop down. And typically the drop down will show me the most recent notes. And then I can select note 1. And now what I have is I have a link that links me directly to note 1. So now I'm in note 1. I just clicked on the link and it brought me directly to note 1. I can do the exact same thing for this note. So if I hit the greater than symbol twice, again, it's going to typically bring me the most recent notes. I'm going to hit note 2. So now I have a link to note 2. So I'm in note 2. I'm in note 1. I'm in note 2. I'm in note 1. It's a way of connecting more notes. So let's try it again. Let's go note 3. Backlash, note 1. A greater than twice, note 2. Now I've connected both the notes to this new note. Again, creating some sort of organizational structure where I'm linking these notes together so that it will be easier for me to connect everything together. Now, this is where we're going to talk about the Forever Notes system. The Forever Notes system is a way of organizing your notes through a table of contents system using backlinking. And what I mean by this is, let's go to my front page, okay? And this is my actual Apple Notes system. And I go to all notes, and at the top, that's another thing I don't know if you know this, but you can pin a note to the top of your note. So if I take note 3, I can actually pin it to the top of my notes. So basically, if you have an all-important note that you always need access to, you can pin it to the top of your Notes app. But what I have pinned to the top of my Notes app is a note called Home. I'm going to click on Home, and what I've done here is this Home app. I've created notebooks or notes that now act like a table of contents. So basically, I have this note, and this is just a note that I've called work. If I click on that, then I have a bunch of my work notes. Like we have bi-weekly meetings for our team. They're called huddles. And I put together my huddle notes. If I click on that, here are all my huddle notes. Again, what I've created is this table of contents. And at the top, under the huddle notes, I've created backlinkings to home and work, creating a kind of a directory. So basically, I can go back and always be able to go, oh, I'm going to go home and have access to all my other notes. But then if I want to go in and review notes, I have all my notes linked, but oh, I wanted to look at my Department of Energy grants. I can go to work and look at my Department of Energy grant notes and click on that. And then I have all my links for my Department of Energy grant notes. And again, creating this structure up here where I have a directory that I can move quickly from note to note. Now, why would I do this? Is because then I have this very organized way of accessing my notes quickly. Basically, I'll write a note, create those backlinks, add the directory structure, and that way I never lose my notes. And if someone asks me for a note, I can quickly access it. Now, this is really a game changer for me, being able to create this structured linking so that I can always access my notes like a table of contents. Again, the folder structure is great, but I found that with the folder structure, even using the smart folders, excuse me, I was still losing notes or taking time to try to find a note later on. However, using this structure, taking the backlinking and using it as like a table of contents connected to a directory has actually made myself way more organized as far as finding my notes and getting those notes to people more quickly. Because again, I don't know about you, but a lot of meetings, I'm the guy in charge of taking the notes, which I'm going to go over that as well. Again, so I do recommend. Now, is Apple Notes the only note app that does this backlinking? No, it's not the only note app that does the backlinking. I also use another note-taking app called Craft, but there's a lot of them out there that does this backlinking. So if maybe Apple Notes isn't your main note-taking app, you could definitely utilize this backlinking structure with any of those apps available. The other thing that I want to go over, again, this backlinking and this forever note structure, game changing for me. This is the thing that has made me switch from other note taking apps to using Apple Notes, but also most recently, your phone has a powerful feature now, an extremely powerful feature. Basically, if you go into your Notes app and we go back down to the ribbon to the paperclip, I'm going to go back to the main page. Start the note, and we're going to go to the paperclip. Record audio. Record audio is amazing. Again, the dictation process that Apple now does has improved greatly in the last iOS update. It is doing a great job at listening and dictating properly. So what I'm using record audio for is I'm actually recording meetings. Basically, I go to a meeting, I get my phone out, I tell everyone I'm recording this meeting so I can do the meeting notes later. I hit the record, and you'll get this the menu up, and you'll hit the record button, and then it will start recording your conversation. You'll pause, you'll say that you're done, and then it will provide a transcription of your dictation along with the audio recording. So you have the original audio recording, but also a transcription of that recording as well. Now, once you have that transcription, wow, now you have a lot of uses for it. Let me go back and find one. So new audio recording. So I've got this call recording. So basically I have a recording here that I had done, and basically it gave me a transcription of that meeting. So I have this meeting transcription, but then what I can do is you can copy that transcription. Now, once you have that copy transcriptions, you have a bunch of options. Now, the one thing you can do is you can get that transcription into your note. So say, so basically transcription, add transcriptions to note. So now I've added the transcriptions to note. So then I could use Apple Intelligence to basically help me write my meeting notes. So at this point, I would say, hey, provide a summary of these notes. And then I would have those notes, the transcription turned into notes that then I can share out with the meeting participants. Now, what I've actually been doing is taking the Apple transcriptions and using them in ChatGPT, telling ChatGPT, hey, this is the meeting. This is the day we're having it. These are the people that were attending the meeting. I would like to share these meeting notes out. And also, you also tell ChatGPT, hey, this is a transcription from an audio recording from Apple Notes. And then it will summarize these notes, put them in an organized fashion so that you'll have them to share out. So this has been really revolutionary for me because I can participate in a meeting, record that meeting, take the transcription, put it in ChatGPT, explain what the meeting's about, who's attending. Can you create these notes for me and review the notes? Because I always review review to make sure everything's, yes, this is correct, this is correct. I can have my meeting notes done for a 2-hour meeting in less than a half an hour and share those out. And then I look like the superstar because I've got those meeting notes done, shared, and then ready for other participants to review and give feedback to. So this is a really extraordinary feature that you can do now with your phone. If you have an iPhone, you have this ability right now, regardless of Apple Intelligence. You can still create the transcription and use another AI to get your notes out. But right now, everyone who has the latest iOS update can do this feature. And again, it's an amazing feature. So to recap, we've gone over the how to do styles, checklists, tables, inserting information into your Apple Notes, organizing your notes, backlinking, talking about the Forever Note system, and also the auto recording. Now, the one last thing I want to show you is Apple Notes sharing across devices. So right now, I have my iPhone up, and I have the Apple Notes app on my Mac up. So basically, if you look at the notes, if I go into iCloud, you'll notice that they are currently matched, even the notes that I pinned earlier. So if I say start a new note and go new note for syncing, right? And I go done. There we go. There's my new note. New note for syncing. Done just that fast. So, you know, if you have multiple Apple devices, this is a great way of making sure you always have your notes and access to your notes, because you have it on your phone. So you always know you have it on your phone. But if you have a Mac or an iPad, you know, you have that additional ability to sync your notes across all your multiple devices. And with an iPad, again, the iPad, what's nice about having an iPad is that with an Apple Pencil, you have the ability to write out notes and have those synced across your devices as well. So again, the Apple Note system, I think it's very underrated because I think people look at spending money for a note system when they don't have to. I think that the Apple Note system, if you know how to leverage all the tools that are in it, you can get so much back with on device, you know, on an app that's already available on your Apple device. I mean, this is the thing where you want to make sure, you know, we all have limited time. We have limited resources. We don't want to spend money. We don't want to have to relearn something all the time. This is a way of us using what's in our hands right now so that we can get the most of it. Now, now I'm kind of finished with the demonstration portion, but does anyone have any questions or would like me to demo anything else? Yes, Gail, you can access the recording for review later. Basically, that recording will stay on your Apple Note. Basically, you'll start a note, hit the paperclip, hit record, and when you're done, that audio recording stays in your Apple Notes. Now, as an aside, another thing I've started doing, because I don't know about you, I have a terrible memory and I deal with people on a daily basis that will call me. You can now record phone conversations on your phone. It will make an announcement, and typically what I will do is I will say, hey, I'm recording this because I have a terrible memory and this will help me later on remember our conversation. And if you do that, it will save that recorded phone conversation in Apple Notes, and you would be able to transcribe it and provide notes. For an example, we have a vendor who's going to come to one of our apprenticeship classes to do a presentation. I had a conversation with him on the phone. I said, hey, I'm going to record this for later on. Can we talk about what your presentation is going to be? What will it include? How long do you think it will take? I recorded that conversation, got a transcription, was able to create notes from that, share it out with the presenter and the instructor for the class and say, hey, this is my understanding on what this presentation is going to be. Is it correct? And it got a verification. Yes, this is exactly what's going to be. So, but it saves those recorded phone conversations in Apple Notes. How do you pull in a PDF? Oh, Gail, let me go back to the phone and I'll show you how to do PDF. Or maybe I should do let's mirror the iPhone. Okay. All right. So, Gail, what we're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to start a note. So you got to hit the pen and paper pad button here. And then it's the paperclip symbol. So you're going to hit the paperclip symbol and then you're going to attach a file. So that file has to be accessible to you, meaning that it has to be accessible either through your iCloud account or on the iPhone itself. So you're going to hit the file button and then you'll see all your files that are available either on your phone or your iCloud account. And then you're just going to click on the file you want to attach. Okay. Most of these are PDFs. Let's see. Yeah. So most of these are PDFs. So let's pick that. Okay. So this is an attendance sheet for the carpentry apprenticeship class. So basically that's how you're going to attach it. And it will just wind up being a, pages that you can see that you can scroll through from side to side. Typically, when you bring a PDF into your notes, it will go scroll from side to side. So no matter how many pages this is only a 2-page one. If it was 3-page ones, you would just scroll side to side to get to all the additional pages. And then at that point, you could mark it up or just keep it in there to read. Again, I will bring PDFs in for particular notes that I have. Someone gives me a document, I will either scan it or just bring the PDF in if I have an original PDF, so that I have access to that later on for that particular note. And again, if it's a project, then I'm going to tag it for that project, but I'm also possibly going to, do that forever note system where I have at one main page to start out with, but then I'll start linking everything into that project page, meaning that if I have, say, cooking class project, I'll create a note that says cooking class. And then as I have meetings on that, I will attach those meeting notes into that one note that says cooking class. And then any other resources I will put into that page as well, so that I can always have access to that, through that type of table of contents system that I created. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone, for coming. Thank you. This was very exciting, as Paul said, and have a good afternoon.